Hey guys, RB here, back again for some more. So it's middle of the week. It's been kind of a long week already. Haven't been able to get back out to the garage here. But I'm here tonight. Got my favorite adult beverage, my bag of peanuts, the heat, and yeah, this thing. So we should probably get this thing put back together tonight. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and get this transmission reassembled. Hopefully we took notes on how it came apart so we can put it back together. Yeah. So stay with me and I'll get you guys set up and we'll see where we start. If you remember where we left off with this thing, we threw a quick coat of primer on it just to keep it from rusting, and it's good enough. I want to go ahead and reassemble it back together, and then we'll give it a good coat of primer again and call it good, and then figure out what we're going to do for paint. So before I begin, what I'm going to go ahead and do is there's a little bit of paint blotches on the flat surfaces that need to be cleaned off. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some lightweight sandpaper and just kind of buff that off, that side, and a little bit back here. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright guys, I got this all sanded down on the surfaces and cleaned up, so I think we're good with that. I've also laid out the parts I believe we're going to start with, which are the two bottom gear sets, which I believe one is a idler gear and one's a reverse gear. I'm not sure. Haven't had time to do research on that. Just going to put it back together. On my next videos I will take the time to go through and name off all the items and stuff. I'm trying to really get this machine up and going, so it's like a time. So one of my good friends who does YouTube videos suggested, he says, hey, you got to go off the wall every once in a while and do something that's going to just, there's be 20 different viewpoints on what you're doing. So be brave and do it. So this is what I'm doing. So I need some kind of an oil to just kind of put these gear sets in and stuff. It'll help it with the reassembly process. And reassembly lube would be ideal, but I don't have any. So what can I use? So I thought about hydraulic fluid, yeah. You know, regular motor oil, yeah. So why not ATF fluid? So guess what? I got ATF fluid. Let's give that a try. Let's see what kind of comments this generates. So, alright. So I think what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and start with this gear here first. That was the last one that we pulled out, so that'll be the first one we put back in. Okay, so I've got the gear set in there and threw the pin in, and now I'm doing the set bolt. And one thing that you need to make sure we do is we don't pinch the set bolt. So I'm just kind of working with it back and forth. And you can feel it. There it is, see? So back and forth, a little there. We can go ahead and tighten this one up. Alright, make sure we got good spin. Oh yeah, she's a happy gear now. Alright, that one's in, check. So let's get the other one in. Alright, so for this one we got a big long pin, and then the gear, there's these plates that go on each side, and there's little tabs on these, so we gotta make sure these line up. These are for the other setup. We'll do some free plugs in a minute. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this put in the hole. Alright, as you can see, we got both sets of gears in. Free play. Looking good. Feels good. In play between the gears is right where it should be. Alright, cool. I'm going to go ahead and get set up here. I think the next step is, do I want to put those in? I'm not going to put those freeze plugs in just yet, just in case if we have to take it back apart again. I'm just afraid that we won't be able to use them anymore if I try to beat them back out one more time. So let me go ahead and get set up for the end cap here. That'll be next. And if you remember, we broke a retainer and taken it off, so I need to get it out. And I've got the retainer pieces still. I think I can replace it with a snap ring, and I do have some of those. So let me get that dug out and see what we got going on here. So I want to make a comment real quick. These sets, Harbor Freight, great products. So every time I'm in there I pick up one other one, and you know, it's just kind of, they're good to have, so it ends up saving me. So I was able to find a good snap ring. These are retaining rings, they're not necessarily snap rings, but I think they'll be just fine, and I can get that to work. So let's go ahead and get this thing back assembled. So I went and looked and watched the video a little bit and kind of get an idea as to how I took it apart. see if it goes back together any which way that sounds right. Oh yeah, a little oil there. She's back in there now. Had to give it a little persuasion. So I believe that goes on there and that goes on there. A little curious about the snap ring. Didn't think there was down there. Maybe that was the one for the bottom. Tell you what, give me a couple minutes, I'm going to go watch my video. So it is, it's the gear, then the snap ring, then this plate. So I managed to get the snap ring on there. The plate's ready to go on. We should be able to go like that. And get it lined up. Just like that. Okay. Okay. Then this goes on. And if we remember, the tips go down. Should be able to get a screwdriver and push that down. There we go. I heard it snap in place. There it is. Okay. That can't back out. That should all be back together now. Awesome. Cool. I think the next thing is we'll go ahead and check out and see how our gasket worked. We're going to go ahead and put the gasket on the frame. I'm not going to put any stuff on the outside here just yet. I want to get the shaft in there, and I got to put a gear in there too, kind of mush it together, and then I think I can go ahead and put some stuff on there. So I'm just going to use some gasket sealant, high-tech gasket sealant, and our gasket's in very bad shape, but I think it'll still work. So let's just do this. I'm going to kind of hold it in place for us. Okay. Okay. I'm going to have to take a look and see how exactly, because I'm almost certain it was like this. In there. But then the shifting forks in there. So let me just go verify and kind of see, because I'm thinking it had to go like this. And it's kind of important that when we shove that shaft, that'll be the next thing. I think we can load the rest of the gears from the other side. Alright, so it was as I suspected, that one fork goes here, one fork goes here. So that is now loaded. That's how it needs to go in there. So, best way. I think I'm going to turn this up on its end. Here's my camera shut off on me. So I was able to get the shaft in there, the gear in there, everything's in there. I threw some quick bolts in here just to hold it, and we're looking pretty good. I think the next part is I need to get that end cap assembled. Alright, we're going to try to do this without cussing. Alright, so I guess first things first, let's go ahead and jam the needles in there. Should fit in there. Oh, I see. Cool. Okay, so needles going first. There we go. What I can see is, how does this work? Alright, so I've been fighting this, trying to figure out this keeper at the end and everything. I think I have it now. Not 100% sure. I got the forks back in, I think, the right way. They're fitting anyway, but I'm still not sure. So, I think the thing to do now, okay, that makes sense there. And then we have to figure out which keeper goes on which side. Kind of looking like that there. I'm going to go with that. Now I wish there was some good way to test this without the fork in there, but I don't think there is. So I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to put the cover on and just kind of shift through the gears and see if it makes sense, if it's moving. Okay. There's a gear. Okay, so I'm going to think that that's reverse. That feels like it's okay. I think we got her, folks. So that's definitely locked up, going the same way. That's definitely going the same way. That's definitely going the same way. And that's definitely going the opposite way. So that's reverse there for sure. And that's neutral. Alright, we did it. Cool. So a couple things. First thing is that on this side here, this shaft keeps coming out, but that's because that plate that's left in the tractor goes up against there, and that's what holds it in place. So not too worried about that. I just don't want to get crazy with it right now. So that's one thing to note. The other thing to note, everything is working good there. That's a plus. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the gasket on here. We'll go ahead and seal the top part of that transmission for now. We'll go ahead and put the plugs in and just kind of work our way around. We got the freeze plugs to put back in now, so that's good. So yeah, I think we successfully rebuilt this thing. Alright guys, so the transmission is reassembled. Took an act of God. I apologize for not filming it. I don't have very good light, and it just, I didn't know what I was doing. Bottom line. So yes, took a little bit of finagling, but we got it back together. Gears shifting correctly. So we're going to go ahead and let it sit here for tonight. I'm wrapping it up. And then tomorrow I think we'll go ahead and clean this gasket up, and maybe put some more acetone on it, clean up the outside, and give it a good prime job. Yeah, so I think we're there. I'd like to go ahead and maybe get this thing painted too. I gotta do some research on some paint, and then we can set this aside and move on to the next thing. The next thing I believe is going to be the rear end, which is leaking all over my garage. So definitely going to need to do something with that real soon. So yeah, we'll touch bases tomorrow. Alright, we are back. It is the next night. I got a little bit of time tonight, so I want to do something on this thing, keep the momentum going here. So, a couple things. Stopped by my Tractor Supply, and I needed to get some primer. I'd like to get this cleaned up tonight and primered. And then while I was there, I was kind of looking at paint and stuff, because I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with this deal. And they actually had the light forward gray color paint on sale. I decided to go with that. It looks a little light than it should be, but I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I think that'll give it a nice touch, that with an accent of you know, a nice bright red. Yeah, we'll see. But that's what we're doing. So tonight we'll start. Go ahead and get this gasket cut down, and then I'd like to get the rest of the grease and stuff off this. From touching it, moving it around, I got a little bit of grease on the primer that we had put on there, so we'll get that cleaned up and get it resprayed. If I get this sprayed tonight, maybe I'll get it painted tomorrow, let it sit for a couple days, and then we'll get it put away somewhere in the shop, out of the way, and we'll move on to the next process. I think the next thing is going to be the rear end. I'm looking at it right now, and it's needing some help. So I guess that's where we're going to go. So let's get started. All right, we got to start somewhere here. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and start on the bottom. If I can go ahead and get the bottom part primered, let it dry, maybe go grab a bite to eat, and then I'll be able to stand it up and get one side and then the other side. So I guess we'll find out what it's going to look like. Not bad. Hopefully I didn't paint you guys too, but you know, if we did, it's a casualty of painting. So we'll let that dry. I'm gonna go grab a bite to eat. It's just primer, so it shouldn't take too terribly long to go. Guess we need to go ahead and do this side now too. Looking pretty good. Alright, I think that'll work. So I know we're going to get all kinds of comments about the way I'm restoring this. This tractor is just basically going to be for showing and letting youngsters climb on it and learn about it. I personally believe that that's the way to do it. If this tractor was rarer or something more special, I guess you could say, I'd probably put a lot more time and money into it. But really, realistically, I'm just trying to get it to look good because I want the youngsters climbing on it. I've got stories about that on my other videos, but that's kind of how I feel about this. So this one, we're going to just kind of go through and do a mechanical restoration to it and, you know, give it a good paint job and stuff. So with that, you know, I'm going to do the best I can do with the resources I have, and that's going to be, you know, $10 cans of paint. Yeah, it's gone up. Whew. But anyway, so yeah, so we've got this primered. It's looking really good. I'm going to go ahead and let this dry. The way it's drying, I may be able to go ahead and throw a coat of paint on it tonight. So let's go ahead and give it a good hour here and see what it does. Alright, so while the paint's drying, I decided we better go ahead and start working on the rear end here, keep the momentum going. So this thing made a mess all over my garage. I had it sitting down here, and I think the seal at the end of the shaft there is bad. But I do need to go ahead and get the rest of the grease out of it, or the gear lube. So I've got a little pan underneath. We'll go ahead and pull that plug and see what comes out here. A little bit, yeah. So we'll go ahead and let that drain. So one thing I want to point out, so joining this together was this piece of rubber, looks like an old tire. So we should be able to do something like that again. I do have some conveyor belt rubber that we'll do that with. So that'll probably be next. I'm going to get wrenches. Let's go ahead and take that off. Get that out of the way there. Alright, so we got that hideous piece off there. Double nutted on there. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and save the hardware. That. We got just a spot for that. Come over here. Yeah. That thing. Let's see if we can toss it right on in there. Oh, look at that. Alright. Cool. We got some new bolts. So as you can see on this side, this lining looks like it's pretty much toast. I mean, it's still got a lot of pad on there, so it could be just glazed over. Yeah, that's what it is. Just glazed over. So we'll have to rough those up, and we'll be in good shape there. So, let's see. Alright guys, so I think that this is ready for some paint. Feels dry. I don't mind putting paint on. It's a little bit tacky. I want it to suck it in, and that's what that does. So, gotta give it a try. Moment of truth. Well, not liking it. This is telling me that the material is too cold. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, so the material is 62 degrees. Paint is 68. It's kind of puckering, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm gonna let it dry and we'll see where we're at. Guys, so it is taking the paint. I have a feeling that what may be going on is maybe the primer is latex, and as to where the paint is the what do you call it, the enamel based. So maybe it's got a little reaction there. I'm gonna go ahead and let it dry. It is drying, and I can see that it is getting better. So yeah, we'll just give it a try. So I'm just gonna leave it there for tonight, and we'll end up having to paint the other side tomorrow. But that's all we can do. So yeah, let's go ahead and just continue on tomorrow. Alright guys, so it's a couple days later. Paint finally dried on this thing. It's okay. It's a little rough, but I think it'll be okay. At least it's got some kind of paint on it before I start reassembling. So we're done with the transmission now. So I do have the rear end started here. This will be our next process. And then a little sneak teaser. I did get the frame all tore apart today. So, and I've got some video on that. Next video I'll post that footage along with this. So that's where we're at. Been kind of a hectic week and busy weekend, but we'll go ahead and get going on this thing again. So hope you enjoy this. Leave some comments for me. Big thumbs up if you would. And until next time, take care.